Hello and welcome to Doing Everything to Avoid the Hereafter. Yes, that is an acronym for death. So let's talk about it so we become a little more comfortable with the inevitable. I'm your host, Jenny Remack. Now let's go make some ripples, you and I.
Mere grains of sand that scattered across the space of time. Ripples on the water. Ripples on the water.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. I have a very special guest with us. For nearly 3 decades, Edi Matsumoto practiced as a family nurse practitioner, caring for patients across the lifespan, many living with chronic pain and mental issues. In family practice and as a diabetes specialist, she witnessed how persistent pain reshapes identity, relationships, and emotional well-being. At the same time, she saw another silent epidemic, clinician burnout. In 2017, when the National Academy of Medicine launched the Action Collaborative on Clinician Well-Being and Resilience, Edi contributed a series of paintings depicting physicians in distress. Faces half-shadowed, stethoscopes heavy with invisible burden, her message was simple: you are not alone. Unexpectedly, creating that artwork began healing her as well. After COVID, she made a bold midlife pivot, leaving a stable medical career to pursue art full-time. She opened a gallery in Carmel by the Sea and created Otter Therapy, a collection of whimsical sea otters inspired by famous masterpieces, cultural icons. Why otters? Because almost everyone smiles when they see one, and we can see them in the ocean nearby. Blending art, humor, and the neuroscience of delight, Otter Therapy offers gentle emotional regulation through visual joy. From chronic pain patients to healthcare professionals, her collectors often describe feeling lighter, calmer, and less alone. Her work has won numerous awards and is collected nationally and internationally. You can see more of her work at www.edimatsumoto.com. Please help me give a warm welcome to the stage, Edi Matsumoto. Yay! Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I didn't know you were going to read it. I would have made it shorter. So sorry you had trouble. So long.
No,
So
that's okay. That was
thank you for
beautiful.
having me.
It's wonderful. I mean, I love, I heard your podcast after my good buddy Shelly sent me a podcast that you had recently done.
Right.
And I said, oh my God, Shelly, I said, I got to meet her. Like, how do you know her? Like, how it is, she's like, this is my cousin's wife. And I was like, what? I was like, no way. I was like, this is so exciting. So thank you again so much for coming on the show and sharing your story with us. So
Yeah, my pleasure.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You ready? Here we go.
Yes. Bring
So
it on.
talk to us about the story of what inspired you to go into healthcare.
Okay, so when I was in high school, I read a book about Mother Teresa and her work. So, I was so impressed by her courage and fearlessness because she is from Albania, but she was assigned to work in a Catholic school in Calcutta, India. So she had a stable teaching job, but then she had this calling and went out to the street of Calcutta, India, and started picking up dying people from the street and started to start taking care of them. So, she just did that without any help, without any money, without any resources. And then made it into this worldwide movement, Missionaries of Charity, with thousands of nuns and all the organizations are helping her out now. Well, she passed away, but her legacy continues and she's a saint. So I just saw such a cool lady, I was 16, 17. She's so cool. I have to meet her. So then I had a chance to meet her while she visited Japan, but also I really wanted to go to Calcutta, India. And so after college, I went to this home for dying destitute And so that's where sisters and Mother Teresa will literally, take other people, dying people, sick people, untouchables in India to this facility and take care of them. And so anybody can volunteer. So I was, volunteer, but at that point, I had no medical background. So I'm just watching other doctors and nurses who are volunteering, starting IVs and giving medications and dressing the wounds. I thought, oh, that's so cool. And I was only able to feed the people or dry their bodies after a bed bath or put a powder on. But I was still able to talk to Mother Teresa, shake hands, and she would talk to me. She talked to all the volunteers, and I had her presence, amazing person. I got to meet her several times while I was there. So it was a great experience. Yet I felt I needed to do more. I needed skills, medical skills. My English wasn't that great. So that's why I came to the US. I'm originally from Japan, went to US, I studied, enrolled in English as a second language class, and then a little bit later, and enrolled in a nurse's aide. I got to LVN, RN, and got to be a nurse practitioner, got a master's degree in nursing over 8 years. So I became a nurse practitioner. So basically, I just needed the skills to help people better. I wanted to be in the healing profession, physically and also kind of spiritually or psychologically, emotionally. So that's how I got into healthcare. And, I spent almost 30 years in clinics and hospitals.
Wow, what a beautiful story. I mean, and you were able to work alongside with Mother Teresa and be able to help people who were, sick and wrap them after they had been bathed and like help them just people that just are having such a hard time. And you notice that this connection with like, I want to be able to help people in this way. And that inspired you. You moved to the US, you started studying nursing and, became a nurse practitioner over 8 years. And that's amazing. I mean, because you're from Japan and then
Right.
English is your second language.
Right.
And so learning all these things, I mean, it's incredible, like your story. And so thank you for the beautiful work that you did and that you continue to do today. I mean, I'm just so in awe of everything that you've done. So really appreciate that. And I had a quick question about Mother Teresa. How was she? Was she like, what was her mannerisms like, or how was she to be around?
First of all, she's really tiny, you know.
Okay.
I don't know how tall she was, maybe 4'10", or a really tiny person, but full of energy. So I
Yeah.
feel like she's like an energizer bunny in a nun's costume and kind of running around, but not running around. She's pretty calm presence, but she's just going, going, going. And one time I saw her in the distance in this place called Kalighat, Holy Temple, turned into this medical ward. And she's like in the distance, and other volunteers kind of talking about, oh, look, that's Mother Teresa with a guy. Who is that? Oh, he's a French prime minister. She gets all this dignitary from all over the world, and she just show them around, presidents and Princess Diana. So yeah, she's got this aura, energy. So one thing that really impressed me was when I shook her hands, so soft, because I was expecting the work she does is really seem to be really rough. So I thought she might have all the callus on her hands, but she's got the softest hand and the nicest smile. And she's actually quite witty and funny. She jokes
Yeah.
around, and so she doesn't carry that like oh, I'm doing this, hard work for the world. It doesn't have that kind of atmosphere. She just do it because she wants to do it. So that's another thing. She just got the calling and she's doing what she wanted to do. She loves to do. So she just had this kind of joyful presence.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that. And she answered her call. It was a calling. It's like something that she gets to do, something she wants to do, not something like, oh, woe is me. I'm,
Right.
doing all this hard work,
Right.
and you got to see that too. And I'm kind of curious about how that has shown up for you in your life, because you were talking about like clinical burnout and the different things that were going on in the industry. And so you were able to recognize that and you started drawing pictures of people, in distress or having some of the clinical burnout moments. And
Right. Yeah.
yeah, how did that inspire you to then kind of take the action of like drawing them and doing what you're doing now?
So I'm a nurse practitioner and I married a physician, local physician. And so I had no intention doing any type of art, although I was creative in many different ways, but I had nothing to do with a drawing or painting. But I draw, my family, my mother's side loved to draw, make things and make costumes. And we're just a creative family. So I was able to draw. My sister was a cartoonist. So I did this little sketch when I was in Paris. During college, I went to Paris and I was kind of stuck in Paris for 3 weeks because my travel agent forgot to give me the Euro pass that I was able to go to Europe all over the place, but he forgot to give it to me. So I'm kind of stuck in Paris. So I thought, oh, well, I'm just going to go visit all the museums in Paris. But then one Easter Sunday, French people in Paris, they take Easter Sunday very, very seriously. So none of the stores are open, no parks, no museums, nothing was open. So I'm kind of stuck in the hotel room, nothing to do. But I had this beautiful building, a typical Paris houseman building across the street. So I only had like one piece of paper on the back of itinerary, so blank paper. So I just took my pen and started drawing, sketching the building. So I just kind of couple of hours, I killed time. So I put it away, forgot about it for 20 years. And when I got married and then, I was kind of shuffling paper and throwing things away. And I found this from 20 years before. And my husband, I showed it to my husband. Oh, this is what I did when I was in Paris. I got stuck in Paris and told him the story. And then I tossed in the garbage because, oh, this is just kind of old paper. And my husband ducked in the garbage and rescued it. And this is amazing art. Do you realize that we are going to frame this and you have to go to art school? So I was like, oh, really? If you say so, well, I can take some art classes because I'm done with my nurse practitioner things. I'll take some art classes. So that's how it started. And that's about 2007. And fast forward about 2017, after I got about to graduate from my second master's degree in fine art. And I was painting a bunch of doctors and nurses for the purpose of a master's thesis. That's about the time I started to notice all the people around me are burned out because the healthcare has changed so much that there will be more computer work and less conversation with the patients. We have to do lots of paperwork, have to talk to insurance company, we have to get the authorization. So it's not so much less about patients, more about productivities and computers and documentation. So my husband was really burned out. I have other colleagues burned out doing the computer work until midnight, or weekends. So I just see so many people. And as you read in my bio, that's when the National Academy of Medicine started this initiative to focus on this healthcare burnout and do something about it. And then they were calling for artists to depict healthcare professionals, either well-being or kind of show the burnout, the reality. So I thought, oh, that's perfect. That's what I'm painting right now, the reality of healthcare. So I had a few of my husband's face being burned out and doing this. So I submitted some paintings and they said, oh, this is what we need. So they were exhibited in Washington, D.C., and they had a first conference for all healthcare professionals to come up with some solution for healthcare professionals' well-being and burnout prevention. So we kind of, we went to the conference and my painting was shown, and even that became the cover of a magazine, for medical magazine. So I told my husband, I made you a cover boy.
Cover boy. I love it.
Yeah, and he was like, oh, I preferred to be a cover boy of a GQ magazine, but well, that's okay. Yeah. But anyway, I'm kind of digress. So that's how I had a series of healthcare professionals. And it turned out, so because I have so many healthcare colleagues, and they would look at some of my paintings, it's like, oh, I totally get it. Thank you for painting. So this is us. So it's great to share this with the world because it'll tell the world, what the reality. We are not like rich doctors doing, going on vacation. This is us. We are kind of in between patients and the administrations and the insurance companies, and we're on time clock and we have to see as many patients as possible. So we're under a lot of pressure. So just kind of depict that I'm kind of speaking for some of my healthcare colleagues. And also, being creative for myself, it was very healing. I'm just kind of balancing my working days. I cut back from full time to 4 days. So I can spend 3 days, painting, creating. So that was healing for me too.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So I want to reflect on you were in Paris. You were stuck in Paris. You drew this beautiful painting, which you were throwing away, and your husband's like, no, 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 no. We're gonna keep that. You need to go to art school. Like
Right.
he saw the creative talent in you that you didn't necessarily see in that moment.
No,
And so isn't that beautiful when people can bring that out in us and just say,
absolutely.
hey,
Hmm.
like, and so that prompted you to go to art school. You got a second master's degree. And then you started drawing the faces. Your husband became a cover boy, of the distress. But I mean, it feels like that too as a patient with doctors because it feels like they have to like they have so much to do, right? Like, and you were talking about added pressures with paperwork, authorizations, all the things with insurance, and all the things you guys have to go through, and that just becomes more and more tedious because it becomes less about client care or patient care and more about like typing and doing all these things. So you found this outlet of drawing and being able to paint people in these moments as more of a creative outlet for you. And this, then began a movement. Like your painting has been in Washington D.C., it's been in magazines, like all the things. And you know what incredible what an inspiration you are, to be able to like follow your passion, follow this light that it ignited inside of you. And now you have these otters. And so how
Right.
did the otters start? Like, how did that all come into play with making otters?
So after 30, close to 30 years in healthcare, it was time for me to transition. So I retired from hospital and jump into this unknown world of art and business. So I have no business background. I worked for the hospital, clock in, clock out. I got the steady paycheck and wonderful health insurance. So I lost that just like that. So now I have to make money. So
Yeah.
I thought, well, I can paint, so I'll give it a shot. The first couple of years, nothing happened because I'm trying to sell my painting, but it didn't sell. And I was studying business, how I can market, how to sell. So I'm kind of a self-help, self-education junkie. So I always take classes and I always have coaches, multiple coaches in finance and sales and marketing and business and mindset and spirituality and all of that stuff. So at one point, one of my artist friends said, if you want to sell art in this area, Monterey Carmel area, famous for our beautiful beaches and sea otters. So somebody told me, number one seller in the landscape, Monterey coast and yeah, beautiful downtown, mountains. And the other thing you could try is paint sea otters. So I thought, well, I painted lots of landscapes and I did sell landscapes, but that's not my passion. So I thought I'll give otter a shot. And so they're so cute. So I painted several and immediately they started selling. So otters, otters just, tourist attraction. And when they see otters in the ocean, they come to the gallery and see otters and they want to take the otters home as memorabilia. But what happened to me, it's one of my fortunate coincidence, like when my husband, found my artistic talent. So one of the sea otter researchers in this area saw one of my otters and loved it, bought it. And she commissioned me to do Sea Otter Scream. You can
Oh,
see that one, Otter in the Scream painting.
yes.
So, of course, she's a sea otter researcher, and that's her favorite painting. So, that was her idea to put the otter face in that painting. And I did that. She loved it. I loved the idea of putting otter in a famous painting. But
Yes.
I was not gonna do anymore. But here comes another coach, my art coach. We were talking, Eddie, you can paint, but you need a niche. You need to kind of focus on something. So we were talking, and what has traction for you? So I said, well, I just started to paint otters, and people love otters, and I just did see otter in the screen painting. And he was like, that's it, that's your niche. Yeah. So, and then we had this amazing brainstorming session, and we said, oh, we can do Mona Lisa, we can do American Gothic, we can do Van Gogh, we can do Picasso, we can do da 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 da. So I had a great time. So that was about 2.5 years ago. And I painted maybe about 5 or 6. And that's about the time also somebody told me, artist friend told me about, hey, there's an empty gallery space. You want to open a gallery? And first I said, no, why would I want to open a gallery? So, I have no business background. But then, I thought about it because it stayed empty for 6 months. I was thinking about it. Maybe between this otter, maybe, and then I'm not getting any younger. So if I don't do it right now, maybe I'll never do it. So maybe I'll take a chance. And I'm going to open a gallery and put my otters and many other art already have and see what happens. Gave myself 1 year to give it a shot and see what happens. And I put the otters up front on the window, and as soon as I open my gallery, people start congregating in front of my otters, laughing their head off, like, "Oh, it's a
Oh,
Van Gogh otter, that's a scream otter, ha ha ha!" And so they're laughing, smiling, sparking a conversation between friends, families. So I thought there's something to this. And people coming in,
yes.
laughing, smiling, and asking about others. So, and then giving me more ideas. Oh, now you should do Einstein. You should do Clint Eastwood. You should do Steph Curry. So, study, a lot of customer will give me ideas for next orders. So that's how it started. And also not only make people laugh, smile, and people buy orders, but I started to get feedback from people who have seen or bought my orders, took them home. And they tell me, like, your others keeps me company. I live by myself, but your others keep me company.
Oh,
Or, I had a surgery and having a really bad outcome. I'm in a lot of pain, but your others make me smile. It keeps me company and ease the day, make me happy. So I thought, oh, because I was feeling slightly guilty. Resigning from hospital, and so I'm not taking care of patients hands-on anymore. So I kind of feel like I'm away from healing profession. And then I started to hear these comments, your others are healing, it'll comfort me, it's my friend, it's my companion. So, oh, my others are healing. So I named the Otter Therapy. And yeah, my other therapist seems to be a companion for lonely people. Thank you. Yeah.
yeah.
So it really delighted me that although I'm not in the hospital clinics, but I just have a different means to help people, heal people. Or some people just kind of smile at it or laugh at it, which is great. I think it just lifts their spirits, make them happy. So now it's sometimes I call it medicine for joy, medicine for healing with humor and art. And so I felt like I found another calling that just shifted from medicine to art. But I can continue to, send a message of joy and healing, making people feel lighter, happier, and live like an otter, like be in the present moment, enjoy, play, don't take life too seriously, just have fun. So,
Oh my
close.
gosh. Yes. Thank you for bringing your otter therapy to life. I love it. I just got my book yesterday and I I've really been enjoying, you break down like different things about the Otter. And it actually is, you let us know fun facts about Leonardo da Vinci. He was born today,
Yes.
back in 1452. So happy birthday to him. I mean, it's just so cool that you're bringing, from medicine to art, and it's this therapy and this joy and this play and this creativity that, you're still healing people in that way. You're not practicing medicine, but you're practicing otter therapy, and that is giving people um, so much love and laughter. And I think you can never have enough of that, right? Like it's just, especially in a world that can be, really hard at times. And so, this person that's recovering from a surgery gets your work that provides this companionship and this ability for her to feel, loved and joy. And I just love that you're doing that. I think that's so
Yeah.
cool.
Thank
It's
you.
amazing.
Yeah, I love that. I didn't know that art could do that when I was painting healthcare professionals, and that was like a solace.
Mhm.
But those were not nothing to make people laugh, but it was kind of a reduced isolation. So it was a healing, and there are many, many research done on the power of art as a healing modality.
Yeah.
But now I combine that with the humor, healing power of humor with my other therapy. So between the power of art and healing power of humor, but also with the otter, a lot of people go, as soon as they see otters, they go, oh, because they're
Yes.
so cute. Oh, so I said power
Yeah.
of awe also.
The
So
power
those
of awe.
triple,
Yes.
triple, yeah, effects of, so that's what otter therapy effective. So yeah, so I'm so happy that I found this, and it just kind of make me feel like it's my calling. Whether I'm gonna continue art therapy forever or just shift focus to another niche, I don't know. But at the
Mhm.
moment, I'm just having such a great time. I live in Carmel. I have a art gallery in Carmel. I paint all day. People come from all over the world looking for art therapy, and then
Yeah.
they just smile, they come in laughing, go home happy. So I couldn't be happier doing what I'm doing right now.
Yes. I love it. You followed your inspiration. You're following what you're passionate about doing. When we live in that way, it's it's purposeful work. It's meaningful. It provides healing all around the world. I mean, it's incredible. Okay, Eddie. So I wanted to get into your experience in the healthcare and like your experience with death. So when was the first time that you actually lost someone?
When I was about 5, my grandmother died. But although, she came to live with us very briefly when she was kind of terminally ill, and she was just confined in the guest room. So I had no interaction with her. So I really didn't have any relationship with her. And pretty soon, in a few weeks, she passed away. So there was no sadness so much involved in that death, but most of the thing I remember is the funeral and going to the crematory. So it's a very cultural thing. So there's the coughing, and all the relatives are coming, all the flowers are coming, and there's a coughing, and all the people, adults are carrying the dry ice to put in a coffin to preserve the body. And I was too young. My sister was 2 years older than me, so she get to carry dry ice. So I remember I was jealous, like I want to carry the dry ice, and because it was magical for kids. And
Mhm.
then there was this kind of ceremonial funeral, and then we went to the crematory. And so they put the body, and we kind of wait outside and see the smoke coming out. And I think one of my parents said, "Oh, that's your grandma." Like, oh, that's kind of a different concept for a little kid. And
Mhm.
then after that, it's kind of maybe too descriptive for some audience, but anyway, we get the body out, and there are some bones. And because it's in Japan, we use this disposable chopsticks to pick up the bones and put in the urn.
Oh,
So I
wow.
was able to participate and pick some bones and put it in the bones, in the urn. So it was kind of to me, there's no sadness because I had no emotional attachment, except that that's the only time I saw my father cry. So I kind of knew that was a sad thing, but I didn't have that emotion. But it was such an unusual thing, the funeral, dry ice, the crematory and the smoke, and picking up this white chunk with the chopsticks. So it was more like a kind of magical, kind of fantasy fairy tale to me. So that's
Mhm.
my first experience with death.
Wow, that's quite the experience,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
know?
So yeah, I remember really vividly those pictures.
Yeah, and so you're picking up the bones with chopsticks. Like, did
Mhm.
you get to participate in that as well then? You
Yeah,
were
they
doing
let me
that part?
participate
Yeah,
in that part.
okay.
Yeah.
But the dry ice, you were a little too young, so you got
Right.
a little jealous of your sister
Right.
who was, carrying that part.
Mhm.
And then you said the smoke, when the smoke went up, that was like them saying her
Yeah,
body's
that's your
releasing.
grandma. Yeah. It just
Wow.
it's such a trip in my concept from body
Yeah.
to your grandma. I can't remember who said that, but it's such a I don't know. It's such a new concept.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was maybe part of the magical memory that I have. Like, oh, that's human going into a smoke.
Right.
Yeah.
And uh, so what do you think kind of happens to us after we die? Like what are your kind of thoughts about that now and experiences around that?
So that was a long time ago, and as I mentioned, I take a lot of courses and watch YouTubes or take classes with the spiritual leaders.
Hmm.
And one of the person I follow closely is Abraham Hicks. And so I'm
Yes.
fairly influenced by their expression of death. There's no such
Hmm.
thing as death. And we are all kind of collective consciousness. We are all energy. We're all over the place. And really, there's no such thing as death. We just either a physical form versus non-physical form. So,
Hmm.
some of us will choose to go from non-physical to physical form and manifest as a human skin, yeah, human body, and then have life experience, and we're supposed to have joyful, fun time, and then at some point we're going back to this non-physical form, and I think that that's what's happening. So it's not the end of life, it's just kind of different form. And the other day I thought of this analogy, which kind of makes sense to me at this time anyway. So there's like a vast ocean, and the ocean is all one, everything is included, the fish and whales and sea urchins and kelp and all the water, everything in it. So it's all one. But if a fish jumps out of the ocean just momentarily, like a flying fish, just jump out, so it looks like a one fish,
Hmm.
unrelated to the ocean. So the fish is jumping like a wee, so just kind of having a great time, kind of jumping out of the ocean, but it seemed like an individual, separate from everything else, separate from ocean, but then having a great time and go back to the ocean. So back to be one with the entire ocean. So it seems like when you are kind of jumping above water, it might be the life, like a short amount of time. We're supposed to be having fun, but we come from the ocean, go back to the ocean. So the same kind of thing, we came out of the universe and we're having fun in the human form right now, living the best life we could, hopefully, and then go back to the universe. And I think some people might do it over and over and over. I don't know.
Yeah. I love that you brought up Abraham Hicks. I love Abraham Hicks as well, and have followed
Mhm,
their work for a long time. And
mhm,
Esther doing the channeling, and I think that it's so cool the way that you put that, because I think consciousness, like the fish coming out of the water, like having this experience, this joyful experience, and then going back into the water.
mhm.
And how many of us are really living our lives joyfully, passionately, like
Mm-hmm.
really showing up. And I think that that's kind of the key to why we're here,
Mm-hmm.
to experience love and joy and compassion and creativity and fun. And of course, we have the other emotions too, right? The sadness, you saw the burnout, the different things that clinicians and yourself were going through,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to not get stuck there, to really have the ability to have coaches like you've had, like in the spiritual coaches and the different coaches that you've been able to work with. And so I think that's so important for us to understand that we're here to find joy and bliss and love and connection, and that we're all connected, like that we're all part of the ocean,
Right.
that we're not like separate. I think that's a big thing too, that I believe in, that we are all this like universal oneness, this consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
and that although we're in the physical form now, we'll drop the earth suits, is what I like to
Mm-hmm.
call them,
Mm-hmm.
and then be in non-physical
Mm-hmm.
and still be able to be in that love vibration, that
Mm-hmm.
love connection.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love that you brought that up. I really,
Mm-hmm.
really appreciate that analogy too with the fish and the water. And thank you for sharing about your grandmother and your experience with that too. And working in healthcare too, I know that you would have sometimes like smooth transitions or maybe difficult ones. And can you
Mm-hmm.
talk to us a little bit about kind of the difference and what that would kind of how that would show up in your work life?
Right. I've seen so many deaths in healthcare. And early on, when I was a nurse's aide, I went from nurse's aide to LVN to RN to uh, nurse practitioner. But as a nurse's aide, so I didn't have too much knowledge back then. But I worked in a nursing home, so a lot of people are there with a terminal illness. And some people are surrounded by family and then go peacefully. And there's one particular gentleman I remember. He was kind of notorious. He was there for a few weeks, but all that nurses aide will tell me, be careful with that guy because he's always angry. He's so bitter. He
Mm.
doesn't like anybody. So yeah, sure enough, he's, either doesn't say anything or grumpy or complain about something, but clearly he was dying with a cancer. And I heard it's kind of weird expression, but he's deathly afraid of death. So he,
Oh.
I think, expressed like, I know he didn't want to die. He didn't want to die. He was lonely. Nobody
Mm.
visited him. He was alone. I think he might have been from Eastern European. So he had a very thick accent and a little bit hard to understand. That compounded difficulty a little bit. But
Mm.
anyway, so I remember, and he was dying. He stopped eating, but he's almost his body. I couldn't imagine he was still alive, but it looks like the body was almost rotting, or rotten. And so, because almost purple, black and purple, the whole body and shriveled, but he still had vital signs. So
Mm.
I asked the nurses, like, is he still alive? Like, yeah, he still have vital signs, but he's just clinging to life. He's just so afraid of dying. So
Mm.
that was one of the most kind of prolonged, agonizing, very, very sad case.
Yeah.
So I think it's a lot about a fear of death, fear, resistance to dying, kind of letting go. As opposed to my next door neighbor we lost very recently, and she was 94 years old. She had a happy, long life, very, very active until almost towards the end. But she had a surgery, got infected, and he was given a choice between amputation and hospice care. And he
Mm.
chose hospice care. So she was surrounded by family. She was our literally next door neighbor. So we went to say goodbye. But she looked like a normal self. She's laughing, joking, and we said, you look so good.
Yeah.
And you look so, perky. And she said, yeah, everybody tells me that I look so good. I'm going to make a beautiful corpse. And so she was joking like that. But then a week later, she passed away. But so and then other thing she said was she was a very deeply religious person. So she said, now I can see my husband who had died a few years before her. And I'm really, really looking forward to meeting my Lord. So I think I know it's sometimes religion and spirituality may not go together
Yeah.
necessarily, but in her case, she was so deeply spiritual, religious, and she was so looking forward to her death, the end, because she get to meet her Lord. So she
Mm.
was actually kind of excited about it. Oh, I just saw my husband, deceased husband, and so she's just kind of being visited by from the other end, little by little. And I heard from her family later, oh, she got to meet Jesus before her death, and so she was happy.
Mm.
And so that was an example of very complete acceptance of death,
Yeah.
and actually looking forward to the end, so she can transition and yeah, merge with the universe, with the Lord, and yeah, go to heaven.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, those are two really different experiences, right? Like you had the
Mhm.
guy who was, just kind of angry and would, they're like kind of look out for this guy because
Yeah.
he's a tough guy and
Right.
really was just had a hard time letting go, like didn't want to die. And
Mhm.
I feel like that happens with people who are really attached to maybe the ego or
Mhm.
attached to the fear of, not knowing what's next. And
Mhm.
then there's people like your next door neighbor who are very vibrant and loving and have, and I think the connector here too is connection. That guy didn't really have much connection. There
Right.
was nobody there with him when he
Mhm.
passed. And
Mhm.
and then she's surrounded by people that, love her. And then she
Mhm.
also has this faith component to where
Mhm.
she's going to go meet in her faith, the Lord or,
Mhm.
Jesus. And so
Mhm.
that is really comforting for a lot of people. I know my mom talks about that too. She's still earthside, she's still
Mhm.
living, but she
Mhm.
can't wait to meet Jesus. Like
Mhm.
that's her
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's great for people to have, something that they can connect to or hold on
Yeah.
to know like so that it's not so scary. And I think,
Mhm.
so many of us like we'll clench, we'll cling on to things. And when we start to unclench, when we start to release our hands, it just
Mhm.
feels better.
Mhm.
So with being able to do you have any maybe advice for people about death and like kind of how to see it in a different way, how to see it maybe in a lighter way or have more peace with it?
I think this is really how people perceive death, and I think it's very cultural. I think our concept is so shaped by what you hear in school, your neighbor, your parents. And so if you were told you're going to hell if you don't behave, and you can go to heaven only if you behave this way. So if you're kind of stuck in that context, it might be difficult. Yeah, like oh, I committed the sin, so I'm never gonna go to heaven or whatever. So because my first bachelor's degree was in anthropology, so I
Mm.
studied a different culture, and also I encountered different ways to think of death. Like in some places, they mummify the ancestor and they live with the mummy for forever. So it's still part of life. And so
Mhm.
again, kind of back to universe, get the human skin, human suit, and then leave the human skin. But in some culture, it's a continuation. So death is kind of closer to you. It's just part of life, and it's nothing to be scared of. So just kind of maybe exploring other culture, other different
Mhm.
ways of perceiving death, like listening to Abraham Hicks, or maybe there might be some other resources how to conceive death in a different way in Asian countries or African countries, or so just so you won't get stuck in like a one way of thinking. So I think that might help. And really, I personally think it's really nothing to be afraid of. Just, going back to where we came from. I think basically,
Mhm.
we were born on this Earth, planet Earth, and we're going back to the planet Earth. So we're just being recycled over and over and over. So just going back to where we came from. So really nothing to be afraid of. I think the pain part, a lot of time when you die, there's some pain or disease associated with it. So I think that might be the part that people are afraid of. But I think death itself is, yeah, personally, I think it's nothing. I think it's a relief when you have these human suits that enjoy what you can do with our five senses and what you can manifest and expand. But when you go back, you have no suffering. You can do whatever you are. Some other coaches like to say you are everywhere, everywhere. You can be anybody, anywhere, anytime. So
Yeah.
you're connected with everything. So how fun could that be too?
Right. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that you said too to like have people kind of look at different perceptions, look at different viewpoints,
Mm-hmm.
cultures, that and how they see death and how they work with death. And
Mm-hmm.
also Abraham Hicks or opening your mind to different kind of ways of seeing it. Because I feel like when you die, it's almost like you go to sleep and you just wake up and you're not in your body anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the way I've seen it or feel like it happens. It's real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And that although your body might be diseased or you might be having like a cancer or something you're going through, you're still like, you're not in the body anymore. And, there's that freedom of not being in that suffering, if the body is breaking down.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love that approach, like of being able to explore
Mm-hmm.
different perceptions and different views, like you said. I think that's really cool to do that. And like, do you think too, you said recycled back into the earth. Do you think that there's like a reincarnation part? Like, would you come back? Like, I would love to come back as an otter. I think they're adorable.
I've heard that. You're the second person who said that recently. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I don't know so much about that, but I think it's very likely, Dalai Lamas, reincarnated. But what I do have is probably I've done this several times in the past, and this time around I had it easy. I, you know, I just came into, I was born in Japan and I had the family, certain history, but I kind of feel like I hit the road running this time because the life is so easy this time.
Mm.
Everything I want to manifest, so people tell me, oh, you're going to do this next. And so I just get that signs from everywhere. And so whatever I'm moving forward, people or some signs will appear in front of me. So it's all kind of laid out for me. Okay, so you're India, you're going to the US next. Okay, you're going to nursing school, you're going to nurse practitioner school. Okay, cool. Now you're going to be an artist, and here's your gallery, here's your other niche. So life is easy for me. It's so joyful. And I think I'm pretty open, and I try to stay open to kind of get the I don't know if I call it sign or message from the universe. And but I've had this since I was little. Just somebody's watching over me, not religious, but somebody's watching over me, protecting me, and just kind of hand feed me. Okay, Eddie, here's your next thing. Okay,
Yeah.
you don't have to take it, but So if I feel it's fun, I'll take it and I move forward, and I may or may not continue, but as long as it's fun, I'll just continue doing it. So I have a feeling I've done this human thing a few times or a few hundred times, I don't know, before. And this time I really had it easy, and everything is working out for me.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that everything is working out for me. And I think of like the universe has your back, right? Like
Oh yeah,
somebody
totally.
has your back. There's this knowing of like almost like this blueprint, this that you've had laid out for you. Like, and you just follow the fun, you
Hmm.
follow the joy, you follow
Yeah.
the serendipities, the things that keep happening along the way. And
Hmm.
I consider those signs from the universe. I consider that the universe has my back as well. I have a very
Hmm.
similar philosophy. I'm not religious. I was raised Catholic, but I chose not to continue,
Hmm.
following that. But I, I know that it can help a lot of people, religion and different things. I chose to see God, universe, grace, whatever you want to call the word,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Hmm.
Uh, but that it has my back.
Hmm.
I like to say grace has my back. And I love that you follow your joy and you follow your fun. And And so if it's not fun for you, do you just say no? Do you just say, nope, not going to go that way or not do that kind of thing? Is that a compass for you?
I think so, yeah. As Abraham Hicks, or actually, as I study business and different things, a lot of people are saying the same thing. And even business people, as I studied business, not everybody, but certain businessmen, very successful business people, men or women, they kind of say the same thing. Or maybe I'm attracted to those coaches. But it's all about vibration, and if you feel the vibe, good vibe, and I go with it. If I
Yeah.
get the kind of bad vibe, I don't go there, or I just leave that and I go into the better vibe, higher vibe. So yeah,
I
yeah,
love that because we're energy, right? And we
right.
vibrate. And
Mm-hmm.
so you can feel people's energy before they even speak, before the words even come
Absolutely.
out. So you
Mm-hmm.
can,
Yes.
it is a vibration. And I love that you talked
Uh-huh.
about that too.
Yeah.
And so speaking of vibrations and otters and different things, I'm thinking of like, I love your vibe. I would love to be otterized, like as like a podcaster, like if there's a way to
Sure. Yeah,
do
that's the,
that.
that's the first.
I would I would love that. And if other people wanted to be otterized, what is the best way that they could communicate with you or get a hold of you?
You can contact me through my website. My name is edimatsumoto.com, one word,
Okay.
or Edi at edimatsumoto.com as my email. So you can then
Okay.
send me, email and tell me what you want. And or better yet, you can come to Carmel and visit my gallery in downtown Carmel. And I have a little gallery. This is also my studio. This is where I paint all my others. And I still do
Oh,
portraits, human portraits as well. And
okay.
so this is my playhouse, and you can come visit. You can call me, text me, email me, and then we'll talk about how to authorize you.
I love that. And we'll put that all at the bottom of the podcast too, so people can click on that
Perfect.
and know where to
Perfect.
go. And then
Uh-huh.
also your Otter Therapy book. I got mine on Amazon. Is that the best way
Yeah,
to get that from you?
yeah,
Okay.
Amazon, but also, you can get it from any bookstores. It's on the
Okay.
bookstore, what do you call that, warehouse or connection. So any bookstore can go to their source and order it if they don't already have one. So
Okay.
yeah, bookstore, Amazon, or come to my gallery. And my website also has a link to
Okay.
the Amazon bookstore.
Wonderful. Eddie, thank you so much for sharing your time with me, your life story. Thank you for the beautiful work that you're doing.
Thank you.
I I love what you do, and I can't wait to be authorized. So
I'll be honored to do that.
thank you so much,
Thank you.
and lots of love to you. And yeah, that's it. I guess we're done.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah,
Yeah. Bye,
bye.
everybody. Bye.